That's right, my top focus, and I want to play images right at the very top. Those are the scenes that we are getting at the moment in the city of Chennai, where thousands are still at the Marina Beach protesting against the centre unwilling to lift the ban on Tamil Nadu's prize sport of Jallikattu, the bull sport. In an unprecedented movement of civil society, the youth of Tamil Nadu, especially in Chennai, have descended on the streets and the beaches, claiming that the culture of the state is in danger. As a result, colleges are now going to be shut, and the Chief Minister is coming to Delhi asking the Prime Minister to lift the ban on the bull taming sport.
January 17, 10:30 p.m., Marina Beach.
After a series of protests that we have seen in Madurai, the Jallikattu protests have started in Chennai as well. We have young volunteers who have come all the way to the Marina Beach in Chennai saying that they want Jallikattu.
January 18, Tuesday, the crowd swelled further.
The protest for Jallikattu is only getting stronger day by day, and today for the second day people have gathered outside the marina and they're saying that they will not leave this premises until justice is served to them.
And this is not just in Chennai. From Coimbatore to Madurai, the chants seeking the return of the outlawed bull taming sport rang out across Tamil Nadu.
We are in the edge, losing our culture. So we youngsters initiated us in social media and we gathered here.
Obviously, we will continue this until we are getting a protest has been succeeding. The politicians should be arriving here. We need OPS should be arriving here and give a solution.
Well, it's not just in the cities of Chennai and Madurai, but even in the most remote locations of Tamil Nadu, the locals have come out protesting against the ban on Jallikattu.
The People's March remained peaceful, even though the protesters far outnumbered police everywhere. Some people in Madurai were even detained. With his biggest mass upheaval witnessed since Amma's death, politics was inevitable.
The Chief Minister himself should go meet the students who are protesting there and give them the assurance what his party intends to do and keep up with that assurance.
When I was Environment Minister, we had already issued a notification which has not been quashed by Supreme Court. But the implementation of the notification has been stayed.
This thumping show of Tamil strength made one thing clear. This is more than just a bullfight. It's the Tamil pride now at stake. And the torture versus tradition debate is far from over. With Akshay Anath, Revati Rajivan, Akshita Nandgopal and Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, I want to go straight across to our correspondent Akshay Nath, who's there at Marina Beach, which has become the hub of these protests. It's being called Tamil Nadu's uprising moment. People are even likening it today to Anna's movement in the national capital, saying this is a movement of the average citizen of Tamil Nadu. Is that how it is? Who are the people, Akshaya, who have gathered there, and are they still there in their thousands?
Well, the world's second largest beach, Marina, is now witnessing a sea of people who are gathering here, and it is seeing that every passing minute the crowd is only intensifying. What started off with around 1,000, 2,000 people, now it seems like more than 50,000 to 1 lakh people have gathered all around here, and it is seen that the intensity with which these group of men are coming in is also the same way that they had started yesterday, and most of them have been saying about the traditional and the cultural aspect that Jallikattu has. And we, Akshita Nandagopal and I, have been standing here from 8:30 in the morning, and we've been seeing that people who have been coming here are very enthusiastic about the whole thing, and they're not ready to leave this place until an amicable solution is brought forward. Akshita, you've also been hearing how these people are coming. You've been hearing the enthusiastic crowd coming and telling you what they really want. So what are the main demands that they're setting forth?
The basic demand is that the ban on Jallikattu be revoked, and they're putting the onus not just on the centre but the state government, the courts. They're also, of course, slamming PETA, animal rights groups. They're saying, of course, that they're misinterpreting what's really happening on the ground, and they're saying that this is a targeted attack against Tamilians. But to really put this in perspective, I've never seen anything quite like this, Akshaya. Completely organized on social media. It's been brought together by social media. It's completely apolitical. All of these are just youngsters who've come together, all Tamilians from across walks of life, all who have come together from, college, from the corporate world. They've come together just to send across one message, that this is the people's power. This is the power of a democracy. We have no faith in our chief minister, in our prime minister, in our state leaders even, and that's why they've decided to take to the streets. We could be seeing this go on for days together, and will be historic, no doubt.
Well, we have seen this social media movement even during the time of Chennai floods, and later during Cyclone Varda. But this is the first time that we're seeing the public coming out backlashing the state government and the central government.
Right.
We've been seeing that you're saying that you don't have trust in the state government, and you want a proper statement, and also somebody coming out and giving you the word that Jallikattu will go on. What else are your demands?
We need the central government and the state government to take the proactive actions, because the situation here has crossed the limit, and we people are protesting every day. We are coming in thousands and thousands, not only in Chennai, where you are covering. It's all over Tamil Nadu.
How many days are you going to continue your protest?
Till we get a good result.
Good result? What do you mean by good result?
We need Jallikattu, sure. Jallikattu need to happen in a live, in your channel also. Then only the result will be success. Sure, it will happen. Until it happens, we will be here as we are sure.
You can see how electrifying the situation is here. People have just two demands. One, PETA should be banned in Tamil Nadu, and two, that Jallikattu ban that is there in the state be revoked. Until that, these people will be gathering in large number, is what we are hearing now. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, well, it appears those are the kind of angry crowds. Remember, we saw it during the Nirbhaya movement, entirely different issue there, women's safety. We've seen it during Anna's movement, as I mentioned, anti-corruption. Then the locus was Delhi. Now it shifted south to an issue of Tamil pride. I want to raise some big questions, though, that this story is putting across. Has the Jallikattu ban hurt Tamil pride? How intrinsic really is Jallikattu to the Tamil culture? Did the Supreme Court overlook Jallikattu's importance in Tamil culture? Is culture a valid argument to question a Supreme Court ban? Can Jallikattu be allowed with new rules? Does Jallikattu ban hit farmers' livelihoods? Those are some of the questions that I want to raise. Joining me now at the moment is Singai G. Ramachandran, member of the AIDMK, Arpan Sharma, Director of Federation of Indian Animal Protection Organizations, Bal Kumar Somu is the Jallikattu organizer there from Chennai, and Prashant Bhushan, senior lawyer, who's been arguing in favor of the ban being kept in place. We'll have other voices also joining us, because I want to first go to an interview I did with Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, and I began by asking Sadhguru, why are you supporting Jallikattu even after the Supreme Court banned it, sir? Should men of your stature be seen to be confronting the apex court on an issue like this?
I'm not going against any court. Why I'm speaking for Jallikattu, if you have to understand, you should know the Tamil culture, the level of involvement. I think the people on the street are a demonstration of that. Supreme Court has delivered a judgment. Of course, we can always go for another appeal or whatever, because I feel it was not represented properly. Whoever represented on the other side, they represented as an enormous amount of cruelty happening. In thousands of villages across Tamil Nadu, Jallikattu is happening, and cruelty doesn't happen in all these places. In a few places where it's become commercially very active, there's a lot of betting involved. In those places these things have happened, it must be controlled. Cruelty to animals must be controlled, that is period. There is no other way about it. But taking away a tradition which is over 5,000 years and which means a lot to people. And this is the only sport that's available for the rural youth. You want to take that away? You please take it away. Before that, please build football stadiums, boxing rings, and everything else for the rural youth, and please take away Jallikattu, it's fine. Right now, they need to have some sport. You can't take it away. And it is part and parcel of their life. And people don't even understand why a court has any say in this. It's like,
you know, Sadhguruji, the fact is you are using this Tamil culture argument, tradition of Tamil culture. It's dangerous argument. In a plural, multicultural society like ours, today it's Tamil culture. Tomorrow some other community will say that will protest against a court judgment on grounds of culture. Surely sentiment, culture cannot be above the law.
Why does it become dangerous to anybody except for those who are involved in the sport? If some Supreme Court order has come, I'm sure there is ways to appeal to it. Law is something that has to be looked at in favor of the people, not against the people. It's a wrong representation that's happened, and they have taken a judgment on this, but it can be looked at once again.
Sir, my limited point, Sadhguru, is if public sentiment were to be the criteria to what is right, to decide what is right or wrong, then sati might not have been banned all those years ago. Child marriages would still be allowed. You know, somewhere public sentiment also has to have a Lakshman Rekha.
I think that's a ridiculous argument. If you go like this, there's no end to it. Sati and Jallikattu are not comparable. Tomorrow, if cricket is banned, millions of people will come on the street. How many people have gotten killed in cricket games in the last 1 year, you know? Many top stars have been killed. So it's a dangerous game. It's like a missile. It's coming at 150 kilometers per hour at you. So you want to ban it because a few people got killed? Ban cricket and see, let me see what happens.
Okay, that was Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev defending his decision to support Jallikattu. Clearly, almost all the major voices in Tamil Nadu in particular are all coming out in favor of the bullfighting sport. This is a unique battle that is now being waged, those images that you can see on your screen. And I want to go straight to one of the organizers, Balakumar Somu. Please explain to me, are you going to use pressure of crowd pressure to virtually blackmail the Supreme Court or the central government to somehow or the other lift this ban on Jallikattu? Somehow or the other pass an ordinance lifting this ban on Jallikattu. Is this the way a civil society should respond, you believe, to an issue which has been settled by the courts?
Let us remember that the Indian Constitution guarantees the right for me to follow my own religious traditional practices. A court of law has no right to come in. Let me go a step further. Tamil civilization is the world's oldest living civilization, and we have survived not by fluke. We have survived by design. It is our tradition, and India.
So these arguments were raised before the court. So with due regard, these arguments of traditional culture were raised before the courts. Once the Supreme Court of this country has given a verdict, how can you I come back to it, how can you now revert back to the civilizational cultural argument? It's been already rejected by the court.
No. Let me remind you that the same Supreme Court allowed Jallikattu to be conducted with regulations till after Jairam Ramesh added bull into the list of performing animals, which is wrong. Let me tell you, is bull a performing animal? What is a performing animal? If you take an animal, train it, and then exhibit it to make money. Does anybody collect money, or is the bull trained to do tricks like a monkey or a bear which is on the list? Which is not. So adding it to the performing list itself was something they did to manipulate the case. People like PETA have been arguing against this. Let me ask you, let PETA come back and tell us, after it stops killing innocent puppies and kitten every year, it kills millions of innocent puppies and kitten every year, yet has the audacity to come and take a stand against our farmers. PETA is not just anti-Tamil. Forget the Tamil argument. It is Tamils are now struggling to save India, Indian cattle, Indian farmers.
One minute. It's very nice you're talking Sunday about farmers. I might remind you, and I will also remind my political guest, various figures from 20 to 100 farmers have allegedly committed suicide since October in Tamil Nadu because of the drought. I haven't seen people coming out on the street for the farmers then, but you will come for the bullfighting sport. And that is where the hypocrisy and the double standards come, because it's easy to whip up sentiment on an issue like Jallikattu, but it's much more difficult to do it on farm suicides. But Arpan Sharma, respond. You're the Director of Federation of Indian Animal Protection Organizations. Respond to what Balakumar Somu is saying, that animal rights organizations have gone out of control on this issue, that you are virtually saying that a bull, which has been a tradition, which you are effectively destroying an ancient tradition of Tamil Nadu. Respond to that.
Yeah, Rajdeep, I would make 2 or 3 points. First of all, I think I would really like to say that all people who are sympathetic to animals and those of us who work to protect the rights of animals have just as much sympathy and as much identification with those people who feel that, you know, tradition is being brought down and so on and so forth. So, my request to everybody is to not posit it as an animal versus tradition fight. I think those of us who have concern
What's your
for
second
animals
point?
As much concern. I think there are a lot of things to do with cruelty, and I think much of that has been settled by the court, and perhaps Prashant Bhushan would be much better placed to talk about that. I would just suggest and request that perhaps the debate can be moved further. Why is it that we always see animals as things to be used by humans, whether in sport, whether as food and so on and so forth? Is it not the time for us to start thinking about animals as persons in themselves? Is it not the time for us to now question whether it's right, whether we have the moral right to use animals as we choose and inflict all sorts of cruelty on them?
Okay,
so
that's an animal rights perspective. At the end of the day, there are people out there who are seeing this as an issue of Tamil culture and identity. N. Ram, former editor-in-chief of The Hindu, is also with me on Skype. N. Ram, how do you see, have you ever in your long life in Chennai seen images like this, protests, now over a sport? Do you believe that this is in the interests of Tamil Nadu, or do you see a political game here which is being played by some, say, Tamil parties in a way to embarrass the center? What do you see happening on the streets? Is this a genuine civil society movement?
Absolutely not. This is a game played by the ruling party with some support from others to whip up sentiments, and believe me, Rajdeep, it's not going to last very long. I heard various claims being made that this is a sport, this is the main sport available to rural youth. Absolutely baseless assertion. If you go to the countryside, to rural areas here, they play volleyball, some play cricket, they play football. It's not that Tamil Nadu is so primitive as to depend on Jallikattu as recreation, as sports to entertain its youth. And as for the other argument, religious freedom, that's a completely bogus argument. It was brought up before the Supreme Court.
Right.
Contending that this is necessary in the interest of religious freedom guaranteed under Article 25, and the court rejected it. The 2009 Act, which regulated Jallikattu, was held to be not in consonance with the 1960 prevention of cruelty, law for prevention of cruelty, and it's completely absurd. There's no real basis for it. It's been whipped up to divert attention from serious problems, including the corruption.
It's being diverted. You're making a very serious point there. You're saying this is being whipped up to divert attention from the serious issues confronting Tamil Nadu. Singai Ramachandran, member AIDMK. The fact is, as I mentioned, various figures from 20 to 100 farmer suicides in Tamil Nadu because of the drought since October. That issue doesn't seem to enrage people. Corruption allegations doesn't get people on the street. But Jallikattu gets people on the streets. Is this an attempt being made to whip up frenzy for political benefit?
Rajdeep, not at all. To talk about it, the farmers and drought is a natural calamity, and for that, all the ministers in Tamil Nadu have visited each and every district. They have found what are the problems that farmers are facing. They have identified the areas where damage has been done, and proper compensation has been done to them. Money has been paid to them. Remedy measures has been taken properly, and that is the reason people have not come to road to fight for this. Tamil Nadu government has complete control about what they can do about solving the drought issue. And coming to the point that Mr. N. Ram raised, so I don't agree with that to hide something like a corruption or something. We don't have any issues as that right now to hide. We as a Tamil fraternity are worried that our game, the way of living has been spoiled. And as Arpan Sharma said, I don't agree with him, with due respect. He says that don't treat animals as a thing. As Tamilians, if you go and see in villages, in photographs, you can really see a bull standing next to them. My grandpa's family, if you go and see, there will be a bull standing next to them when they take a photograph. That is how we treat them. We treat them as their brother.
No, 1 minute. You are saying this is an issue of Tamil culture and identity, but you are somewhere or the other trying to make this a battle of Tamil Nadu versus the centre. You are making this almost as if this has been imposed. The Supreme Court does not belong to the centre or to Tamil Nadu. It belongs to the people of the country. It's the Supreme Court, Mr. Singhai Ramachandran, which has passed the order. So you have every right. You go and appeal to a larger bench of the Supreme Court. Why encourage people to come out on the street? Why are you encouraging? You are encouraging it because you want these media images to play so that pressure is put on the centre. That's what you are doing.
We are not doing it at all. The people of Tamil Nadu will definitely vouch for it, because if you go and see in social media, people have gathered by themselves, the youth, without any political intentions. They have come, they have felt this is the need, and they have, if you look at the allegations, I have also seen in India today where they have taken the interviews. They themselves are saying that our right, they feel it is their divine right, and that has been taken out.
So you say these are spontaneous. You are saying these are spontaneous protests. Prashant Bhushan, there are those who will say that at the end of the day, the Supreme Court also must respect sentiment, must respect culture, identity. That's the other side of the argument. And the protests are taking place spontaneously, is what is being suggested. Therefore, the court also needs to review its judgment.
I entirely agree with Mr. N. Ram, and I totally disagree with Mr. Sadhguru. I am surprised that Sadhguru said that this is the main sport of Tamil Nadu. That is utterly absurd. It's certainly not an essential part of either religion or culture of Tamil Nadu. It's a sport of Tamil Nadu, and unfortunately it's a sport which involves a lot of cruelty to animals. You see, over the years, earlier in Rome, there used to be a sport of throwing people to the lions in a stadium. That was a sport which people enjoyed in Rome 2000 years ago. In India, there was a culture of treating Dalits as untouchables. In most of Europe, there was a culture of keeping slaves. Fortunately, as societies get more civilized, they start realizing that this is unacceptable. You can't treat Dalits or blacks as slaves or as untouchables, etc. And therefore laws came to be passed. The same thing happened to environment. Earlier people didn't think anything about the environment, but gradually people realized that environment needs to be respected for
So you're saying there's no place for sentiment in law?
And in general for the benefit
So you're saying there is no place for sentiment in law?
So
you're saying there is no place for sentiment in law?
There is no place for tradition in law. There may be traditions which are totally cruel, which are totally inhuman, which are totally against the rights of other people or other living beings, etc. And that's why the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act was passed.
Okay.
It's a civilizational act.
It's a civilizational act. But I want to come back to the question.
I want to tell all these young people who are
yes, go ahead. Finish your sentence.
Yes, go ahead. You want to come back to?
You were saying the young people?
No, I was saying that I want to tell these young people who are protesting there, I was saying that these young people who are protesting there should realize that they are being used by people who are whipping up their sentiments for something which is just a sport which is practiced in a few places. I am sure that many of the people who are protesting
are you
out
whipping
there
up sentiment?
are not even involved in this Jallikattu, etc. They are being used for something,
let
and
Mr.
they
Somu
should
respond.
realize that
Not at all.
now the time
Not
has
at all,
come.
please.
Yes.
I beg to differ with Ram as well as Mr. Prashant Bhushan. In
Yes.
all their wisdom, they refuse to understand what culture is. India is all about tradition and culture. There is no barbarity, there is no cruelty, there is no animal abuse in Jallikattu. That is what we are saying. Why would the Supreme Court, give a stay on the notification on within a few hours? Why, when you want to give a judgment on a case like this, you say we are still writing the judgment, we don't have time. See, what is at stake is the credibility of the judicial system in this country. Will you respect us? See, there are Jarwa tribes in Andaman who have certain practices, they are guaranteed, right? When you stop them, the whole court, whole media, everybody goes and says you should not disturb them. They should be allowed to follow their own culture and traditions.
Are you comparing today the Tamilian people's protest to Jarawa tribes? No. Are you comparing the Tamil people's protest to the Jarawa tribes of Andamans? Are you saying that they should be treated in the same manner, that Jallikattu should be treated like an ancient cultural practice which will remain in perpetuity?
Give us the same rights to follow our own traditions.
Irrespective of the impact it will have on society.
Have a committee appointed by the Supreme Court, not a committee, fact-finding committee by AWBI and PETA which went to court against us. Have a third-party committee consisting of farmers. Did you consult the farmers before banning this? The bull belongs to the farmer.
The bull belongs...
India has signed the International Convention on Biodiversity.
The bull belongs to farmers. And Ram, even as this discussion, just a minute, even as this discussion is going on, Ram, a number of people are coming on social media. Sir, just a minute, sir, I have to switch off. Even as this discussion is going on, a number of people watching now on social media are turning around. Please tell Ram, no political party has organized these protests. These are spontaneous student protests organized through social media. Do you believe that, Ram? Is that possible that maybe a chord has been struck today? Every Tamil celebrity from R. Ashwin, the cricketer, to Kamal Hassan, the actor, are all coming out in support of Jallikattu. Is this now a popular sentimental issue? Spontaneous protests, these are not organized protests.
It is possible some students have come out spontaneously or reacted to it, but in the main, I see a clear connection between the AIADMK government's whipping up this issue. Now Pongal is over, so I don't know what the timing means. It happened before the assembly election. The Supreme Court remained firm, and it remains firm. Now the other, it's possible. Whatever their compulsions for Ashwin or Kamal Hassan, I'm not concerned with that. We have to look at the issue on merits. Have these people, those who are supporting this, championing this, not read reports or not of earlier the cruelties practiced on bulls? Does the ordinary farmer keep these bulls? These are landlords, rich peasants in many parts of Tamil Nadu who train these bulls. These are performing animals. These are not just ordinary bulls. These have to be looked after carefully, and they're prepared. Have they not seen the bulls are goaded? They are traumatized. Earlier they used to be fed liquors. Chili powder used to be used.
Let me turn this again on my head to you, Singai Ramachandran, because we saw images of your Chief Minister Panneerselvam, who's leaving from Chennai airport. He's coming to Delhi. He's going to raise this with the Prime Minister now. As I come back to it, is this, do you believe, the biggest issue today for the people of Tamil Nadu? At a time, as I come back to it, farmers are committing suicide. There isn't even enough fodder for the cattle. That time I don't see you all shouting and screaming. But today the Chief Minister is leaving to come to Delhi to make this a national issue, to almost whip up sentiments. Should the Chief Minister, what is the Chief Minister's agenda? What does he want Narendra Modi to do?
So as I said already, as far as drought is concerned, we had the complete control, and our ministers went and did the groundwork, and whatever remedies should be given has been given, whatever compensation has been given should be given.
What does the Chief Minister want from the Prime Minister?
before I go to that point, I would like to, with due respect, I would like to differ with Mr. Ram sir, because simultaneously in so many districts, and especially the youth of Tamil Nadu cannot come together, and we cannot do an orchestrated event like this, and we cannot put orchestrated comments. It is the feelings of the people, and they have come out and they are expressing it. It is nowhere connected with AIADMK. It's the entire Tamil fraternity who is trying to express its feeling that they want Jallikattu. I want to defend that as well. And as far as you're concerned with the Chief Minister's agenda, the Chief Minister is going, at the end of the day, people of Tamil Nadu have voted for us to take care of them. So we as the Tamilians, we need to go and represent our concerns to the central government and tell them this is what it is right now, and we are equally worried about we don't have Jallikattu today. And in the meanwhile, if you look at it, the Chief Minister is also addressing the youth to peacefully go out from this place. Please don't stay here. Protests will not help. He is trying to control that as well.
You're saying that he's trying to control the agitation as well, but as those images now keep playing, clearly this issue is threatening to spiral out of control. The issue of Tamil identity being mixed with that of Tamil pride and some element of Tamil subnationalism is now being linked to these movements. Are these spontaneous as the organizers insist they are, or are they orchestrated as N. Ram and a few others seem to be suggesting? Clearly at the moment there is Tamil Nadu experiencing their own uprising. You can see those images also of policemen who have in a sense been the subject of violence. So the protest not entirely peaceful. Thank you very much though to my panelists for joining me, because this is an issue which is complex. What is my take? The sentiments of Tamilians over Jallikattu deserve to be respected, but sentiments cannot influence the law. Crowd pressure cannot decide court verdicts. Maybe a fine balance can be struck. Allow Jallikattu to be played, but with strict regulations. Just one final question though. Why don't people march on the streets when farmers in Tamil Nadu are committing suicide because of drought? It seems easier to whip up a frenzy over a sport than in protecting human lives. Let's go to the very latest, those images that are coming in again from Marina Beach in Chennai. Remember the large crowds that have gathered there. The police slowly now bringing the situation there under control, because clearly there has been through the day large crowds that have gathered there demanding that the sport of Jallikattu be once again allowed to be played in Tamil Nadu without any court restrictions. Slowly the crowds appear to be drifting away. Akshaya is still with us. Akshaya, is there a sense that you're getting that with the large police presence there, are the crowds slowly drifting away, or are they still there in very large numbers?
Rajdeep, Akshita here, and we've been here from morning, and really I don't think the crowds have really reduced in any way. It's just that in certain areas they have lathi charge to the police and ensured that they're not gathering on the roads. Aksha's been here since yesterday. Aksha, we did get a few reports of police lathi charging the crowds in Presidency College, but that was essentially because they were covering up the roads.
Yes, Akshita, the thing is, there's a lot of people coming in. What started off as a minimum 1,000, 2,000 number is spilling over to more than 1 lakh now. So it's very difficult for the organizers to hold the crowd, and most of them are a little unruly and moving into the road which they had not planned to, and because of that the police have been deploying mini lathi charges in and around these areas and pushing them back into the pavement or towards the beach, so that there's no problem, there's no hindrance for the general public in the large, Akshita.
And you can see around me as well, Rajdeep, you see the number of people that we're talking about, 9:45 in the night. It really shows that they're not going to relent as far as their protests are concerned. We're standing in one corner, in fact, of Marina Beach on the sidewalk, and you can see how many people are there. Quickly, I'll take a reaction from the people before I toss back to you in the studio. Give us a quick detail of your demands, really.
Our demand is to amend PCA Act immediately. The central government should act immediately regarding this. We are fighting for past 1 week before and after the Pongal also, and we will be not stopping this protest against the Jallikattu, and we need Jallikattu, and we want to protect our family, our farmers as well. Hindi. Excuse me, ma'am.
We strongly believe that whole scenario behind this PETA, that is people for ethical treatment of animals. So where is PETH here? People for ethical treatment for humans. Can't you see people as, I mean, we are starving here, we are struggling here for what? For our cultural benefit.
Okay,
so we want Jallikattu
so this
here
is
for sure.
something that we've been witnessing over the last many hours, that there should be a ban on PETA. And well, back to the
Those are the screams, the shouts. We want justice. This is now, as I said, becoming Chennai's uprising moment, led by the youth of Chennai. Many of the protests spontaneous through social media. Others are suggesting, like Enram, that these protests have been organized, designed in a way to be part of the political games that are being played out in Tamil Nadu as a distraction. Either way, it remains our top story this evening. Chennai dominating the headlines. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.